Here you don't. Japanese style leadership has so many restrictions more than you expect. As you may know, a leader as an organization should be given authority and privilege. But in Japan, the range of authority and privilege Japanese leaders are given is quite limited compared to the leaders in non Japanese society. So, one of the primary factors that constrains authority and privilege of Japanese leaders is that Japanese leaders can't capture the progress of subordinates as a member of an organization, but they need to capture the progress of subordinates through the executives who supervise these subordinates belonging to each section of an organization. So, because Japanese leaders always care about saving face of executives in an organization. So, no matter how excellent ability Japanese leaders have, it's quite difficult for them to handle every single subordinate directly at their discretion. And it is also even difficult to prioritize their decision making by suppressing strong opposite intention or opinions. So, in this way, it is really difficult for Japanese leaders to bring out directorship to aim for a goal reasonably from a broader viewpoint. So the Japanese leaders' decision making is strongly influenced on human relationship and power balance between a leader and executives in an organization in many cases. So far from even manipulating people in an organization, existence of executives interfere Japanese leaders from making an accurate judgment. Therefore, there are not a few Japanese leaders who don't even have leadership, which is normally recognized in Western countries, Western society. So the factor that sectionalism and faction hold the field of Japanese leaders, though, it comes from the lack of their directorship. In other words, the authority and privilege given to Japanese leaders is too small to take a leadership in an organization. So this tendency has accelerated in a Japanese style democracy since after the World War II. So how many indecisive leaders there are in a Japanese society? So in many cases, if Japanese leaders are forced to make a decision, they firstly consult with executives who are quite familiar with them, and executives' advice becomes the primary factor to encourage them to make a decision. So sometimes a dictatorial leader appears in a Japanese society, but that is limited to the case that leaders overwhelmingly dominate an organization on relative power balance with executives, and a leader has a great confidence on the management of an organization. However, we cannot even say a leader in this case is given as much discretion as he can handle an organization freely compared to a dictator, which we can see in non-Japanese society.